Welcome to New Reformation Press's presentation of South Orange County Outreach's production of Where in the Church is the Gospel? In this second half of a two-part presentation, the first of which is entitled The Gospel for Those Broken by the Church, Dr. Rod Rosenbladt and Craig Parton, Esquire, tackle the question of where the gospel can be found in the church today. These lively and engaging lectures carefully and biblically explain what to look for when evaluating churches in regard to their Christ-centeredness and the place of the gospel in their ministries. We know you will find these lectures to be helpful and enlightening.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Some of you are returning from last night, and some of you are new for tonight. I'm Dave Atkinson, who's the director of SOCO, who's organized this event with the cooperation of Dr. Preuss from Concordia here. And last night we heard Dr. Rosenblatt and Craig Parton talk about the gospel for those broken by the church, and had some rather heady conversation and discussion about what the law is, what the gospel is, what those categories mean, and actually those categories were used backwards and forwards last night, unbeknownst to some people here. Tonight, the goal is to talk about what is the gospel, where do you find it in the church, why it's important to know the difference between the law and the gospel. Dr. Rosenblatt will start the first session, then Craig Parton will come after that. We will have questions and answers at the end of tonight, so both gentlemen will be sitting up front here in the chairs, and we have microphones in each aisle here for people to come up if you do have any questions. So it's with great pleasure once again tonight I'd like to introduce my friend, Professor of Theology Apologetics, Dr. Rod Rosenblatt.
It's a strange question, or at least it would have been had we all lived a while back. Where in the church is the gospel? But in these days, it's not really so strange a question. There are a whole lot of things being presented in churches on Sunday morning. This evening, I'm going to ask you to ask the question as to whether any of those can be said to come under the rubric, the gospel. I know many of us would no doubt say, well, if our pastor didn't preach the gospel, I certainly wouldn't go to the parish I go to. It sounds fairly easy, fairly straightforward as an issue, more than likely not all that difficult to answer. I mean, how difficult can the question be to answer? Where's the gospel to be found in the church? Now, if we're going to try to locate the gospel in the church, we'd better be clear as to what we're looking for. And probably the best short example is what Paul calls the gospel in 1 Corinthians 15. I'll start at verse 3. For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Caiaphas, or to Cephas, then to the 12. After that he appeared to more than 500 brethren at one time, most of whom remain until now, but some have fallen asleep. Then to James, then to all the apostles, last as to an aborted fetus, to me, Paul. So that's as good a definitional question or definitional statement as we can get. We'll operate with that. First, we notice that the gospel, and this stuff, if you want to retrace this isn't original with Rosenblatt. This is kind of a concatenation of material from Philip Melanchthon's Loci and from our dogmatics and such. Ask me at the break if you're interested in chasing it down. First of all, the gospel is the promise of the grace of God. It is not the law. The gospel is found in the church only when it's distinguished from the law. C.F.W. Walther, dubbed the American Luther, contended that these are both, law and gospel, are both to be preached, but that the pastor was to distinguish between the two. If you didn't receive the outline last night, we have an outline of that book for you for free tonight.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?